Now we go to the first of 3 heats for DD2 and DD2-Masters. Here is your starting grid. A welcome return back. This time in DD2, Teresa Babišková will start from pole position for DD2 and will be joined by Italy's Gregorio Bertocco, who was fastest in Group 2 yesterday, but will line up alongside her on the front row. Last year's Wintercup champion, Martin van Leeuwen, will be joined by Patrick Snolslock-Mellis on row 2. The young Italian sensation that made his mark in European Rotax last year, Leonardo Baccaglini, will be joined by fellow countryman Michael Rossina on row 3. Tom Bracken and Nicolas Picot round out the top 4 rows, with Picot pole in Masters. 2019 Senior Grand Finals champion Axel Sarniala will be joined on row 5 by Enzo Boll. Emil Zachmans and Jamie Smith, row 6. Sebastian Schou and Finch Diak, row 7. Maxime Sochurko, Jules Cousin, Laurent Seifried, Maxime de Higgs, Nicolas Guillaume and Tino Egeskov round out the top 20. Martina Stankiewicz, last year's Winter Cup champion, will start on row 11 with Kilian Gerhard, Raúl Vargas, Christophe Capitan, Andreas Neumann, Daniel Carmona, Jonathan Wimore, Jericho Kalainen, Alejandro Barambio, David Perel and Antonio Teixeira rounding out the 31 strong. We were due to have Cristiano Morgado join us, but unfortunately Cristiano has had to withdraw due to a neck injury that he has sustained a little while ago and would not chance it, but it's great to have him with us here this weekend, the most decorated Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals driver in history. And good to see Jan Schwitter in the chat as well. Yes, there's plenty of great racing still to come, folks. We're now into race 6 out of 8 this morning, 14 to go this afternoon. And don't forget, you can have a look at the description of what the timetable currently is and also the live timing. So it is Babišková and Bertocco on the front row. Out of the final corner, into the tram lines, revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? The red lights are out. We are underway. Let's see who gets into turn 1 first. It's going to be Babišková, followed by Van Leeuwen. And up the hill they go for the opening time. As Patrick Snolslock-Mellis was very, very late on the brakes, going into the left-hander. There's someone a little bit, but there has been a little bit of a coming together. And someone is beached on the outside curbing. That will be around about turn 6, or the exit of turn 6. So someone's first heat has not gone to plan. A little bit further back, there is all kinds of bedlam starting to kick off, including the 4-2-4 Leonardo Baccaglini trying to go round the outside of all people. Nicolas Picot, you can't do... And there's more dramas. There's the 577. Well, that was the one that I think that has just managed to get off the curbing. That's Antonio Teixeira from Portugal. So Babišková now has the lead of nearly 2.5 tenths of a second after the opening lap. Nicolas Picot still holding on to the lead in DD2-Masters, currently running P7. As someone went for a late old lunge. That's the battle for 4th position. There is a round the outside move. Do not tell me that's Leonardo Baccaglini trying to go round the outside, going up into turn 8, nearly 3 abreast. Down the hill, and it was 3 wide through turn 9. That is absolutely incredible how much confidence they have. The 4-5-1 looking to go at the inside. That's Jules Cousin. And it is all getting... And we've had a massive turnaround. That is the 439. 439. Finn Stiak, the older brother of Janne. And that is off of the entrance into turn number 12. So yellow flags at Marshall Post 7. And that front right steering is not working well at all. That is going to be a big, big repair job for the team at Craft Motorsport for Finn Stiak. A real shame. Babišková, in the meantime, has started to pull away. She's now got a lead of nearly 4.5 tenths of a second. With 7.5 minutes to go, ahead of Martin van Leeuwen and also Gregorio Bertocco is still in the mix. 9/10 covers the top three. Rosina and Pico. That rounds out your top five. Pico still leading DD2-Masters. And Jonathan Wimor and Raul Vargas. Raul Vargas is also out, the Spaniard. So might have been that they came together. I'm not 100% sure. But early eliminations happening. And but Babičková just keeps on plugging away. Over 6/10 is her lead right now. Tom Bracken, one of the youngsters who also made the switch from juniors last year to DD2, actually went out to did some driving in a DD2 kart in the Netherlands, and then thought, well, I'll do this instead of seniors. Did have a broken wrist last year, but has come back fighting. Enzo Bol, one of the other young chargers, who was also in a junior Rotax last year, now currently runs overall in terms if you amalgamate DD2 and DD2-Masters to P8, currently running P7. Leonardo Baccaglini down in 10th position overall, as Lawrence Seyfried is going into battle with Axel Sarniala. And then they've also got Jamie Smith just ahead as, oh, that's a send and a half from Sarniala right through turn 16 on Jamie Smith. And then did that open the door for Lawrence Seyfried? Yes, it did. So great work there. Smith opened the door, and then, well, it was Sarniala just read the move perfectly and got through without any hesitation whatsoever. So there is still some battling going on as they're coming through turns 8 and 9, down the hill once again. So Michael Rosina leading the train, and that is a big train right there. Jamie Smith trying to close on in with quite a few other people. Also in the middle of all of that, I think I do spot the Lithuanian race suit of a certain Martina Stankiewicz. So now it's getting a bit closer between Gregorio Bertocco in third and Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands in second. Just over 2/10 separate them. Babičková now in the lead by just over 7/10. Emils Akmans from Latvia now has put in the fastest lap of this race. 1 minute 2.066 as Bertocco closing in fast on second position. And we've also had Maxim Didix is also out, so I'm wondering if he might have been involved in that tangle with, I'm not 100% sure, because I caught the back end of that incident where I saw Finch Diak pointing the wrong way. 4 minutes and 10 seconds still to go. So that means out of the 31 starters, we still have what looks to be more than likely 27 still circulating. I'm not too sure if I've seen Nicolas Guillaume come through. Might be out of the race, I'm afraid, so we could be down to 26 out of 31 competitors. Yep, Nicolas Guillaume looks to have pulled the kart into the pit lane, and unfortunately the Belgians' race is done, I'm afraid, and we'll have to wait until Heat 2 after the lunch break to get another try. So things might be heating up a little bit further behind Gregorio Bertocco, because you have got the likes of Michael Rosina, Nicolas Picot, Tom Bracken, has got Patrick Snolls-Lockmelis right on his back bumper heading into turn 16. And the Latvian looked for the move. But Enzo Bol is not too far behind them either. Neither is Leonardo Baccaglini. So there is a cavalcade of karts not too far behind this quartet. It could be closing in over the course of the remaining 2.5 minutes, plus an additional lap of this race that remains. Lochmelis within a couple of kart lengths of Tom Braken. And there goes the move from the Latvian, just textbook through the hairpin there from Patrick Snols-Lochmelis to take 6th position away from Tom Braken, but Braken is not going to give that one up. Down the back straightaway, heading into turn 16. Braken switches to the outside. Could he get the undercut? Not quite. He could get the run coming out of turn number 18. Down the start-finish straight. He's about a kart length behind. Before 18 from Latvia. Minute and a half on the timer remains. Gaps seem to be stabilising between several of the drivers, especially down from around about 6th position backwards. And we still have 26 drivers because of Antonio Teixeira from Portugal. However, the 577 is quickly being caught by the race leaders. Teresa Babičková still has the lead. It's about 6.5 tenths. Van Leeuwen still in 2nd. Bertocco 3rd. Rossina in 4th. And it's pretty much stayed as it has been for the majority of this race, as we are on lap number 10 out of 11. Timer now hits 0, so after this, one more lap will remain. And the blue flag is actually being waved for the first time, but Teresa Babičková, she will be one of the first people on the lead lap to see the last lap board. Slightly extends her lead. Nice work there by Antonio Teixeira to pull off of the racing line to let the top 3 go through. But just a few more corners remain. Bertocco trying to close on Van Leeuwen. Was actually slower on the previous lap and looks to be a little bit more throwing a caution to the wind, but a little bit further back there is a battle happening as Patrick Snols-Lochmelis was trying to fire it up the inside of Nicolas Pico going through turns 13 and 14. But out of the final corner, it's going to be a win this time in DD2. Teresa Babičková comes out of the final corner and wins the race ahead of Martin Van Leeuwen and Gregorio Bertocco. Michael Rossina takes 4th. Nicolas Pico, who finishes 5th in this race, also takes the DD2-Masters victory. Patrick Snols-Lochmelis was hounding the Frenchman based out of Bordeaux right up until the checkered. And the 418 finishes in 6th ahead of Tom Braken with Enzo Bol, Leonardo Baccaglini. Axel Sarniala completes the top 10. Maxime Sechurko finishing in a credible 11th position. Ahead of Jules Cousin, Laurent Seyfried, Sebastian Schul and Daniel Carmona rounding out the top 15. Jamie Smith in 16th ahead of Emil Zachmans with Christophe Capitain rounding out, finishing runner-up in DD2-Masters on this particular occasion. Ahead of Martina Stankiewicz, Tino Egeskov, Andreas Neumann, Jere Kokalainen, Kilian Gerhard, Alejandro Barambio, David Perel and Antonio Teixeira are the 26 finishers after that race. Nicolas Guillaume, Maxime Derix, Finn Stiak, did not finish. Neither did Raul Vargas and Jonathan Wemo. So 26 out of the 31 drivers finished the race. So both Gregorio Bertocco and Teresa Babičková were being spoken to by race director Thomas Leiner ahead of what he expected to be a very, very competitive race. And that it was. Not just DD2, but also DD2-Masters, with Nicolas Picaud being the highest placed one, starting 5th on the grid. But as the drivers then would get into the tram lines, they'd be under starters' orders, and the revs would build, the engines would roar into life, and the lights would go out. It was a good start by Babičková, with Van Leeuwen slotting behind, with the pair keeping ahead of Gregorio Bertocco, who had no option but to stay a little bit wider off of the racing line going through into turn number 1. The field was 2-3 abreast at points. Then there were dramas, first of all for Antonio Teixeira, with a lot of pickup on the Mojo Racing tyres, flapping about all over the place. And then this moment here that ended abruptly the race of Germany's Finn Stiak, with the right front steering arm completely bent inwards, not allowing him to continue. Locomelis was on fire, threading the eye of the needle and firing it up the inside of Tom Bracken, one of the young hopefuls in DD2. But Babičková would hold on to that lead and eventually take the race victory after 11 laps, with Van Leeuwen and Bertocco rounding out the top 3, and Picaud completing his first victory in DD2 Masters.